Hello everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel Psychology Class for All. Today I will start discussion on measures of variability, and under this I will discuss the range. So here we will be understanding variability in psychology, why averages aren't enough. Two psychology students score the same average in a test, but one is consistent while the other is all over the places. Why? The answer lies in a hidden hero of statistics, variability. Let us uncover what it means in psychology. In statistics, especially in psychology, we don't just study the average scores. We want to know how spread out the scores are. This spread or dispersion is called variability. In psychology, variability tells us how much people differ in their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, even in the same situation. So it shows us, are responses tightly packed, or they are scattered, or unpredictable, or widely spread. A low variability means people, most people behave similarly, like in the tightly shown area. High variability, people respond very differently, even in the same situation that is being depicted in widely spread area in this picture. So the definition will be variability is the degree to which scores in a data set differ from each other or from its mean. Why variability matters in psychology. In experimental psychology, variability helps us to judge the reliability of findings. In clinical psychology, it reveals how symptoms vary among clients. In cognitive studies, it shows how attention or memory may vary across conditions. For example, two groups of depressed patients have the same average mood score, but one group has high variability, meaning their mood swings more than the other. Now, some common measures of variability: range, interquartile range, quartile range, average deviation, and standard deviation, and the last is variance. The standard deviation is most used in psychology to summarize variability. A small standard deviation is equal to consistency, and a large standard deviation is equal to high variability. So, low variability versus high variability, a psychological perspective. That means low variability has got the meaning that most scores close to its mean, and it is useful in psychometrics where consistent test scores are there. High variability, big differences in responses. It can indicate unable patterns, for example in mood disorders especially. Variability in psychological testing. It is used to check reliability of scales, helps in norm referenced interpretation. It guides intervention strategies based on client variability. For example, if scores show low variability, the intervention can be uniform. But with high variability, it needs personalization. So next time when you look in an average, don't stop there, because how spread out it is data, check consistently. Because variability helps psychologists to understand how human complexity is there, not just the middle of the bell curve. Now, about the range, a measure of variability. Ever wondered how far apart your psychology test scores can be? Even if two students have the same average, that's where the range comes in. Let's dive into this simple but powerful concept, the range, a measure of variability. The range is the simplest measure of variability. It's defined as range is equal to highest score minus lowest score. Here's an example in psychology. If in a stress test, students score 8, 10, 6, 9, 7, then the highest score is 10 and the lowest score is 6. So the range would be 10 minus 6 is equal to 4. Now about importance of range in psychology. In psychological research, range helps us get a quick idea of how varied responses are. For example, in reaction time studies, the range can show how much faster or slower participants were. In IQ studies, the range shows if the group is fairly uniform or highly diverse. But one thing needs to remember, that range only look at two values, the highest and the lowest. So it can be misleading if there are outliers. Now about strength and limitations. Strength of, strength of range are, it is very easy to calculate, it is useful for quick comparison, it is good for small data set. And the limitations, it ignores middle values, it gets affected heavily by outliers, it's not stable in large or skewed data. Here is a psychological example. Here is two groups of anxiety score. These are the two groups of anxiety score. Group 1, Group A has got values like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 and the range is 4 from 18 to 22. Group B has got scores as 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Range is also 20 and the mean value is 20. So here we can see that group B has got more variability but the same mean as group A, because group A has got range of 4 and group B has got range of 20. So group B has got more variability. Now when to use the range in psychology? When you need a quick estimate of a spread, when you are working with the small samples, in preliminary data exploration, and when you are comparing two similar groups. But if you need a more detailed picture, you'll also learn about interquartile range and standard deviation and variance, which I'll cover in future videos. So the range is your first step into understanding variability and psychological data. It tells us how far apart people's mind and behavior can go mathematically. If you found this useful, hit like, share, and your classmates. And don't forget to subscribe. Next will be exploring the interquartile range in psychology. See you in the next video. Thank you.